Hey, it's Wendy from Simple Spirituality. So here we are, the beginning of a new week. We are in a waning moon, heading towards the new moon. So we're in a time of releasing that's incredibly amplified by the fact that on Saturday we stepped into Mercury Retro. I have a whole other video about Mercury Retro. Check that out. But what I most want to say about it is that it is a potent and powerful time for doing inward work. So it's time to focus on inside yourself, on the stuff you haven't wanted to see. It brings back opportunities to complete things that have been left hanging. So old emotional issues, old relationships. It's a time to ask yourself, how can I complete things so that when Mercury goes direct again, I can move forward powerfully, cleanly, and consciously. So with that said, let's move right into our cards and see. We had a completion card the last couple weeks, so I'm interested to see what will pop up now. Here's our foundational card. Okay, beautiful. So this card is the card of expansion, the storyteller. And so it is time to be your bigger self. It's time to investigate your story, your soul story. What's the bigger picture of your life? If you are the hero in the story, where in the storyline are you? Are you starting a new adventure? Are you in that dark night where everything seems to be going wrong? Are you coming to a place where you are forced, maybe reluctantly, to become the hero of your story? Or really are you at the victorious end where you are reaping the benefits of all your hard work? So it's important to ask yourself, what's the bigger picture of the story and what's the bigger picture of me? Because this card is about expansion. So it's about seeing yourself in a bigger way and also having the healing of stories. And so how can you share your story, your wisdom with others who are at an earlier stage of the story and need some encouragement and understanding? So those are kind of the foundational pieces. To be sure which of those pieces apply right now, let's look at our animal friend that is going to focus and amplify that energy. Ah, okay, so our friend from the south, and we are still in summer, so we are still in the energy of the south on the medicine wheel. And one of the animal medicines of the south is the mouse. And mouse, I love little mouse. So he is all about the details. So that brings up a couple things. He's very good at the specifics of something, but his shadow side is getting so caught up in the details of the story that he can't see the bigger picture. That's the challenge of Mouse. And so it is probably, especially with the other energies around us, the strongest message this week is to stop and step back and look at that bigger picture. Look if you have become too focused on the details or specifics, and maybe you're nitpicking. Maybe you're nitpicking for yourself or on other people in your life, right? And you so want this one detail to be a certain way that you've lost sight of the bigness of the story. And also, I'm a Virgo. So if you're like me, you can get so focused on perfectionism that you fail to recognize how far you've come, right? So we need to take those moments to stop and honor. Ask yourself, where was I a year ago? And notice how the story has grown and how you have grown, and give yourself credit for that rather than getting so focused on the minutia that you've lost sight of the bigger picture. But always it's about, how can I expand into my bigger story, and maybe about how to put those details in place, and noticing, fleshing out the story and noticing how the details give life to it. So I hope you have a beautiful time considering your own story. It would also be a potent time quickly just to step into archetypes, especially in Mercury Retro. So look at your story in the context of bigger stories. What archetype are you playing out now? What is wanting to be uncovered? Maybe you have a negative view of an archetype and you need some archetypal healing. You need to recast that archetype for yourself into something different. And the key to that is resentment. So if there's a piece of your story or a role you are being asked to play in your life right now that you resent, it is important to look at that. And it is important to look at that archetype and see if there's a way that you can shift or change that. That's part of the work I do. So I'm happy to give you some guidance and help you with that if that comes up for you. So have an awesome inner Mercury retro this next week. Let the details of the outer world go and focus in on that. And as always, until I see you again, may we all walk in beauty. Take care.